Good morning, everyone. How's things? Can everyone hear me okay? We're joined here this morning with Richard McKeown from WSI. He's going to be doing, there's talking to us this morning about, how AI can help grow your business. It'll be practical ways AI can elevate your digital marketing efforts. So from personalized customer engagement to data-driven decision-making. So on that note, I'll hand you over to Richard, who will commence the presentation. Thanks, Richard.
Thanks, Kieran. Can I just double check? Can you see my screen there? Okay. Is it coming through okay there, Kieran?
Yes, kind of DJ. I can see
the PowerPoint slides. Okay, perfect. Right. Thanks everyone for coming along this morning. So this morning is, as Kieran said, we're going to talk about AI and how to use it to help you increase your productivity in the business. So I'm just going to do a bit of introduction to myself and a little bit of background, and then we're going to talk about how AI can help. And then we'll do some kind of use cases, and then we can actually go into some Q&A. So that's kind of the layout for this morning. So I'm expecting about me talking for about 30 minutes, and then we'll kind of open it up for Q&A. So that's how the morning's going to work. So so just a quick bit about WSI. So WSI stands for We Simplify the Internet. So we're in business nearly 30 years, and we provide digital marketing services and marketing strategies to SMEs all around the world. So I'm not going to talk much about that. We can come back to that later. I just want to kick off with some stats. Now, this was an international study we did midway through last year at WSI, but actually AirInfo had done some research as well last year, and actually the results were very alike. So we're actually in the middle of doing this survey again this year. But it was interesting because this was with business owners, managing directors of SMEs, and 69% had said they hadn't taken any formal AI training at that stage. And that was interesting because there's a lot of chatter and a lot of conversation going on about AI. And 62% said that they're not familiar or only slightly familiar with AI and its business applications. So there's what we've found is there's a big divide between people who use it and use it quite a lot, those who have heard it and maybe dabbled with it, and those who have heard it but actually haven't even tried it yet. And despite all the chat, particularly within my industry, within the marketing industry, and within some consulting industries, there's still a lot of people who aren't using it. And I'll actually show you later on how to check whether your company's being found on chat or on any of the other big AI things. So 72%, despite the fact that so many aren't using it, do feel that it can help them meet their business goals. But 55% have said they haven't had any strategic business discussions about AI in the last 12 months. So, people are saying it can help, but they're not really sure how it can help. So, but 83% say they aim to use AI to increase revenue, and 73% think that it'll impact their business in the next 12 months. So, despite all the chatter about it, there's still a big divide, and there's a lot of people aren't using it, and they're not really sure how to use it moving forward. So, those charts still coming through clear, Kieran?
They are, yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So let's just jump in. So here, what some of the thought leaders are saying about AI. So Sundar Pichai, who's the current CEO of Google, thinks AI is one of the most important things humanity is working on. It could be more profound than electricity or fire, which is, fairly far-fetched. And Bill Gates doesn't need any introduction. AI is the most revolutionary technology in decades, as fundamental as the invention of the microchip and the internet. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be 100% accurate, but when you have big thought leaders like that saying, AI's impact is going to be profound, then, obviously it's up to something. It's also interesting, ChatGPT, while it's only around about 26 months, actually announced last week that it's already up to 400 million users worldwide, which is amazing. So If you were to look at any of the other big Instagram or Facebook, it took them years to get those types of numbers. So it has cut through very quickly. So quick refresher. I don't want to go into the details. So it's kind of large data sets. This is how AI trains its self. So it actually goes on and it kind of looks at everyone's websites, looks at libraries, and it trains the model to try and think like a human, basically. But it's not new. It's actually been around for years and years, and you actually would have been using it without knowing it in the past 4 to 5 years. So Google use it a lot in their Google ads to try and help you define what keywords you should be going after. Netflix, Facebook, all of those big companies, when they have been making recommendations on what you might like or what you might like to watch, that's all been harnessed by AI. But actually AI wasn't available to smaller businesses until chat came along in November 30th, 2020, and that's kind of when the big AI piece took off. But just before we jump into AI, I just want to, everyone talks about it being all bells and whistles and it's brilliant and it's great for this and it's great for that. But it does come with a big health warning. So probably the biggest one is there's a training data cutoff. Now this changes, but ChatGPT's current model only has data up to December 2023. So if you want to know something that happened yesterday or last month or last November, it may not actually have that data. Now, there is rumors that there's going to be a new version of ChatGPT coming in the next week or two, and that may, or will move the date probably up till the middle of last summer. There's no real-time verification, so chat won't actually confirm the accuracy of its responses. So you just need to be careful. If you see a fact in there that looks wrong, or you're going to publish it in something, you really need to double check it just to make sure that it's correct. The other thing is there's an awful lot of false confidence. So the model will actually talk very confidently, but actually the answers that it could be giving you are incorrect. So again, you always need to have a human in the loop to make sure that it's telling you what it's telling you is correct. Complex topics, it can get them wrong. So, just beware that it does get stuff wrong. And again, if you're using it for any analytical stuff or putting spreadsheets in, and I'll show you how to do that later, just be aware that it can be wrong. And it can hallucinate, so it can actually give you fabricated details. And probably one of the other big watch outs is privacy. So I would not share any sensitive information, whether it be HR data, customer data, financial data, with any of these AI models. It's not designed to handle private data. So you just need to be aware of that. And from a creativity standpoint, so it is great. It can help you develop images and videos and all that kind of stuff. It is basing everything on what it's learned that's already out there. So it won't always have the same originality that a human would have. But having said all that, there's lots and lots of things that you can use AI for. So I've just put some down here that, we've used it for. And these are probably a little bit marketing biased, but you can use it for operational stuff. You can use it for learning. So you can use it as a copywriter. So you can use it for writing blogs and stuff like that. And I'll show you how to do that. You can use it to accelerate your learning. So you can actually go in and say, I want to read The Tipping Point, but I don't have the time. Can you give me a summary of the book? Or can you give me a summary of chapter 2? And it'll actually come back and give you a summary and an outline of the book. You can do the same with YouTube videos. So you might want to learn something on YouTube, something around coding, something around maybe being more effective. And you can actually go in and you can say, look, here's the link to the YouTube video. Can you give me a summary on it? Or there might be some TED Talks or something like that that you want to use it. You can use it as a graphic designer. You can use it for, designing images, for designing PowerPoint decks. PowerPoint decks are a little bit iffy from the ones I've used. You can use it as a programmer. You can use it as a marketing intern. So you can actually, you can say, look, here's all my Google business reviews, or here's all my reviews on Trustpilot. How, give me the general themes that are coming through it. That's particularly helpful if you've got hundreds and hundreds of different reviews. You can use it as a data or a business analyst. So you can actually, now you can actually link it to a Google Sheet, or you can upload a Google Excel spreadsheet, and you can actually say, here, analyze this data for me, give me the key takeouts, give me the recommendations. And I'll show you a bit of that later. You can use it as a sales manager or as a coach. So you can actually say, look, I got this proposal in, or request for proposal in. This is my proposal. What do you think? You could actually, you can use it on your sales calls. If your prospects are willing to record the call and you're doing them on something like Teams or Zoom, you can actually record those sales calls, and then you can actually put them into a sales coach and say, look, this is the sales call I did. Can you give me some feedback on how I can improve performance? So there's lots and lots of ways that you can use it. And here's just some examples of, the different stuff. So, we're going to talk a lot about chat today, but there's other models like Perplexity, Claude, Gemini. They're all out there for images. There's DALL-E, Midjourney, Firefly. There's speech stuff, there's coding, there's video, there's music. There's not a company or a big tech company that doesn't have AI or an AI tool or an AI plugin at this stage. So, stuff that you use every day, look for what their AI is. So when you're using AI, a lot of people say to me, I went in and I put in a couple of lines of text, but I wasn't really happy with what I got back. And that's really what I want to try and concentrate on for the next few minutes, is just about how do we use it. So one of the things that is really good is that you use what we call the ACE prompt framework. So act as, give it some context, and enhance. So actually go in and say, I'm a business owner, and my company sells electronics direct to consumers. We're only based in Ireland. Our competitors are Harvey Norman's, Power City, companies like that, but also smaller individuals with the expert chain. And the more information you give it like that about you, it'll actually come back with better responses. And then you give it some context. You say, my website isn't performing well on Google. Can you help me come up with a plan to improve that? And then you can actually, enhance it by saying, look, my customer type is males 30 to 50 who tend to buy products online. We know that we get an awful lot of leads from Google ads, but also from some Facebook ads. And these are the certain times of years that we perform well. So kind of the more information that you give it, the better the response. And it's a bit like everything, garbage in, garbage out. But if you actually spend some time training the model, it'll help you come up with better responses. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go into Chrome. Can you see my browser, Kieran? So you should see ChatGPT coming up now.
I can indeed, Richard. Yeah, that's showing up.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to talk about chat, and I'll actually show you the different, the advantages and disadvantages of some of the different models. I have the paid version of chat, so I it's I think it's €25 a month. But the free version does a lot of what I do. The reason I have the paid version is I use it quite a lot, and I was running out of credits. But one of the things that I think a lot of people aren't aware of is if you go into the settings. So if you click, it's usually down here, you can view your plan, or you can go up here and you can go to settings and you can go to personalization and you can go into memories. And actually what you can see there is it actually gives you some prompts. So ChatGPT will become more helpful as you chat, picking up details. So basically you're teaching it how to learn. So, these are the prompts that it's saying. Remember that I like concise responses. I just got a puppy. What do you remember about me? Where do we leave off on our last project? But you can actually go in. I'm just going to clear my memory. So then I can go in and, you can just put in some stuff here. What should I call you, Richard? What do you do? I am a digital marketing consultant based in Ireland. I have 20 years experience in strategic marketing, but have specialized in digital for the last 10 years, 110 years. With a focus on Google Ads, SEO, and CRO. So CRO is conversion rate optimization. What traits should you have? So, it actually gives you some hints here. Tell it like it is. Don't sugarcoat responses. Anything else Google should know? Please use UK English, non-American. And you can do all that. So then you can actually go in and you can save that. Now, the reason I don't have this set up on mine is I have a lot of different clients. So I've actually set up my own GPTs for each clients because they work in different industries. They talk to different customer personas. So the problems tend to be different. But if you're setting this up for your company, then you can actually go in and say, I install elevators, I sell cars, I sell electronics. You can actually go in and set it up and do it this way. So that's actually saved. So now now ChatGPT is beginning to learn about me. And then you can go back and you can, go in and set up your memories and stuff like that. But the other way you can set up memories is you can actually go in here and you can say, I work with, now these is just for me, I work with clients in, let me just say 3 main sectors. Let me say private medical clinics, manufacturing, and packaging companies. I want you to remember this about me. And then when I just hit enter, now that's interesting. So usually it actually starts to update the memory there, but it's actually telling me to go into personalization memory. Now it could be that I've got so many other ChatGPTs set up, but if you do that, if you're only starting, that will usually come up and then you'll say memory updating here, and it'll actually start memorizing for you. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. Settings, personalization, memory. No, it's saying my memory is disabled. Oh, I need to turn it on. Okay, this shouldn't be this difficult. So it's actually saying as you chat with GPT, the details and preface memories will be shown here, but it's actually not, for whatever reason, it's not working for me. Let me just try this again. It's because I had the memory turned off. So it's actually now it's saying memory is updated. Got it. Let me know how I can help with any specific industries. So I could go in and I could say, for the private medical clinics, I manage their, actually rather, I don't want to get into writing blogs. I help them develop their content plans so that they can write blogs that their patients are interested in. And then I just write that. Again, memory is updated. That makes sense. Patient-focused content. And then I could go in and I could say, look, for packaging companies, I do this and that. And that's a good way that, you know, you're beginning to train ChatGPT on what you want. And then if I go back to settings, personalization, manage memories, it's starting to update it there. So that will continue to update. And you can go in, you can say, look, you know, I want the blogs to be 2,000 words. Therefore, the outline should just have 5 or 6 headings, should have a page title and a meta description that we can give to the client, and they are the experts, and then they can go and develop it more. So that's how you can use the memory. And if you spend a little bit of time actually setting up the memory and setting it up properly, Google will actually start, sorry, not Google, ChatGPT will actually start to learn what you want it to do. So if you wanted to analyze spreadsheets, develop charts, it will help you with that. So if there's tasks that your company or that you have to do that, maybe take an hour or two every week, or they take a couple of hours every month, then you should be looking at ChatGPT or one of the other AI models to actually help you be more productive. If you're into coding, you can use it for coding. So I've heard a lot of coders. I'm not a coder, but a lot of people in the coding industry will say they've actually been using Chat or Perplexity or Claude to help them write code, or they've been using GitHub or something like that, and actually they're about 40% more productive than they were before they started to use ChatGPT. So that just tells you how to use the memories, and how you can get it set up for more. If you want to use, so let me just go back to ChatGPT here. So here I just want to help maybe get it to help me make some charts. I'll just say, can you help me set up some charts that I need for a presentation? So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to give it a spreadsheet. So here's a spreadsheet that I just put some data into earlier, which is just organic traffic, organic conversions, stuff like that. So you can actually just copy and paste this in. So you can just go copy C. And you can go here and say, okay, here is the data. And you can literally just paste it in like that. It's a little bit messy, but you can actually see that's what I had copied and pasted in. And you can just say, so I'm just going to ask, can you chart row 2 organic traffic? You do a line chart for row 2 organic traffic. So it actually tells you the steps that it's going through. Now it may come back and say there's an issue or it's doing it. Have we got any questions or anything yet, Kieran? Sorry, I meant to say at the beginning, if anyone has any questions, just to put them in the chat.
Yeah, put them in the chat, or you can raise your hand and we'll let you ask the question.
So actually it's cleaned the data for me. So you can actually, so what I did there was, if you click on these out arrows, you can actually go in and say, so it's actually transposed the data. It's actually changed. I had it cross that way. So you can actually go in here and you can see I've structured your data in clean format, blah, blah. Let me know. Okay, so I'm just going to say that looks good. And then I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to actually highlight these 2 columns. So you can see here it's coming up organic traffic ROI column. And I'm just going to say, can you put this data in a line chart?
Richard, it's important to note as well that anybody using it should be careful of any private data and stuff that they're putting in there. So
So
maybe offline out of AI, they could have a key to link up to the anonymized data.
Yeah, so the spreadsheet I actually hear was completely anonymized, so it could be for any company whatsoever. But I would, if you got sales data, I wouldn't have any customer names. If you're using HR data, I wouldn't have any employee names, addresses, no private data in there. If you're using client data, again, just make sure it's all it's
anonymized.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what's going on here. So this data has come up. So I think actually what it's done is, here's a chart showing the trend of organic traffic over time. Let me know. Actually, it went and did my old one without looking at the row too. But that's just a way that you can use it to help you use charts. So now it's come back. I still don't like that. So I give it a thumbs down, but then so it's actually saying there was so regenerate. So now it's actually beginning to think for itself. I don't want it to do that, but that's just a way you can use the data. So actually what I would probably do there is I would just go back here and just say, I just want this data. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on there. So what I would do here is I would probably just go back and actually just take this data and I would actually say, let's try with new. So forget what I have told you. Here is the data. That's wrong. It's copying and pasting all the data in.
Does ChatGPT at the moment, Richard, have the ability to take an Excel sheet, or is it just an image?
It does, yeah. That's what I originally did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you can give it a Google Sheet, so you can literally just go here and you can go upload from computer, or sorry, I probably clicked off that. So you can actually say connect to Google Drive, connect to Microsoft, or upload from my computer. It's usually pretty accurate, and then you can go in and you can say, give me insights and everything like that. So we're short on time, so I'm not going to try and fix that here, but it just shows that it's valuable. It doesn't always give you 100% what you want, so you really need to be looking at it. Just two other things I wanted to point out. It's got this thing called deep research now. So actually ChatGPT was a little bit behind the curve on this. So you can see I've got 10 available until April the 4th. If you wanted to do really deep dive into your industry and the competitors, you could actually say, sorry, I'm just going to look at the, so if Paul wanted to do something for elevators.ie, he could go in and he could say, we install home elevators in Ireland. Our competitors are XYZ. can you do a review of everyone's websites and give me a detailed report on what our strengths are and our weaknesses and our opportunities, and it'll actually delve into it. Now that can take up to about 30 minutes to do, so that I'm not going to be able to do it on the call. But if you've got something that you really want to get into the details on, whether it's certain product, certain industry, certain category, it's really good. But actually tell it, I'm here, I'm free. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask me, and it'll actually start to interact with you if it needs more details. But it can actually give you some really good detailed data. Or if you want to, if you're in manufacturing, or you want to write a blog on, the manufacturing of some odd type of minerals, can go in and do all that for you. But you've only got 10 of those.
That's in the free version, is it, Richard?
Yeah,
you get 10. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So everybody on the call today, once they have a ChatGPT account, they could do a deep dive on there. Okay, great.
Actually, something, it may only be 4 on the free one.
Okay.
So it's 10 because I got the paid one. So the other stuff, I'm just going to say, write a blog. Now, this is not the way to do it. Actually, so act as a digital marketing expert with 20 years experience, based in Ireland. I want to write a blog on the future of search traffic. Can you propose some catching titles? You can actually tell it, I only want 3 or I want 4. So the future search traffic, how AI is changing the game, search is evolving, what markets need to do, will Google still rule? So I'm just going to highlight this one and see the way the little comments come up there. If you actually click that, I'm going to say, I really like this. Can you give me 2 more similar to this? So is Google losing its grip, the shifting future of search traffic, search wars, who will control? So actually, I like this, who will control traffic in the age of the AI? So do this. And I can just say, can you give me the outline for this blog? Include title, meta description. These are all things you need for SEO, and headings. So you can see that it's coming up with all these Amazon, Reddit, niche players, AI powered future, what's next, conclusion. Okay, so then you can go in and you can actually so you can actually go in and say these players aren't relevant in Ireland. Can you replace and then it'll actually come up. And that's the way that you can use it. And you can actually, you could put in blogs that you've written in the past, and you can actually say, look, this is the blog, upload it. And then you can actually go in and, just by highlighting it and putting it in the inverted commas, then you can actually go in and actually tell it, I want this to say X, Y, and Z. And basically, if I had have tried to do that blog, I probably would have got there myself with the outline, but it would have taken me about half an hour. And what I can do now is I can spend 5 or 10 minutes actually trying to go in and say, okay, well, what's relevant? What are the questions that my customers are asking me? That's going to help me write a good blog. That's probably going to help answer questions on Google. So is that okay?
That's it. Great, Richard. It's about using the right prompts and inputs really as
It
well,
is,
because
Yeah.
sometimes if you put something in, you get something back in sort of US English, which has different spelling and all of that, as well as you said, maybe referencing companies and stuff that aren't really known over here or relevant. Yeah.
So that's where using the memory at the start is really important. And you can actually go into, you could actually go into Chat or Perplexity or Claude, whatever you use, and actually play with it and say, look, I want to give you better instructions and better prompts in the memory. This is what I do. What other information would help you? You can play with it. A lot of this is just actually playing with it. It is amazing what it can do, but you nearly have to set aside, maybe an hour a week to actually go in and play with it. We have some prompt guides and stuff I can send out afterwards. But what I did was I just did a comparison among the big kind of models. So, ChatGPT, Grok, Perplexity, Gemini. And I kind of just said, okay, accuracy and depth, sources and breadth, reliability, speed. And I gave them different rankings to try and come up with what we think is the best. So basically for accuracy and depth, ChatGPT is good. Grok, which is relatively new. So Grok is Twitter or X's version of AI, which is free if you've got a Twitter account. There is a paid version as well. It's not bad, and it's quite good at problem solving. Perplexity is in third place. So on sources on breadth, ChatGPT tends to be the best. So it tends to be best in, accuracy, sources. Reliability, actually, I think Perplexity tends to be a bit better, followed by Chat, followed by Grok. And then speed, actually, Perplexity tends to be a bit faster. Chat can be slow. The other thing which some of these models is you're actually better trying to use them in the morning. I find they tend to slow down as the day goes on and the states start to wake up. And if you're actually using them at 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening when you've got West Coast online as well, they can be really slow. So ChatGPT is probably the biggest one. If you want to scan that code, I know Kieran's going to send out the deck and everything after this. But I have a prompt guide and I've got an AI readiness guide and stuff like that. So if you want to scan that QR code, it'll actually bring you to my landing page. And if you just fill in the details at the bottom and just tell me, what more details you want, if you want the prompt code or you want the AI readiness audit, which is a self-audit, I will send them on to you. And there's lots of other good materials there on AI. So
that's great.
So that was all I was going to cover off this morning. So hopefully that was helpful. ChatGPT wasn't that helpful when it came to doing the charts, but maybe I just gave it a bad example. But it is good. I've uploaded big spreadsheets with years and years of Google Analytics data and said, here, pull me out what the best months were and what drove it and stuff like that. And it's actually been really good. But there is times when it's incorrect, and there is unfortunately times when you might actually be quicker doing it yourself if you're handy at Excel or PowerPoint. So, but if you're not, it can be really helpful. So
that's great, Richard. Thanks very much.